Hello, my name is Ben Tice. I work for the Law School Admission Council, the organization that develops the LSAT. In this video, I will discuss the logical reasoning sections of the exam. There will always be 2 scored LR sections in every exam. In these sections, you will read short, argumentative passages of 20 to 100 words and answer 1 question about each passage. There will be approximately 25 such questions on each LR section, and a total of approximately 50 per exam. In essence, LR makes up half of the LSAT. These questions will cover a variety of different topics and be presented in a number of different formats. But let me stress that no specialized background knowledge will be required to understand any of them. To give you a feel for what these questions can look like, let's consider a sample logical reasoning question. This question is discussed in the Sample Questions with Explanations document located under the Free Prep Materials section of lsac.org. First, let's focus on the passage. Notice that this passage is giving an argument. Every LR question concerns reasoning and argumentation in some way. Here, an argument for a conclusion is being advanced. For this passage, the question asked is, the conclusion drawn above follows logically if which one of the following is assumed. This is a fairly common type of LR question. As you review LSAT prep tests, you'll see a number of variations on this kind of question. The correct answer here, in case you're wondering, is C. Again, you can consult the website to read an explanation for this. What other kinds of questions do we ask in logical reasoning? While I can't give you a complete list, I can highlight a few notable examples. First, which one of the following is the overall conclusion of the argument? As I've mentioned, often logical reasoning passages present an argument, and sometimes we'll simply ask you to identify the conclusion of that argument. Second, which one of the following is most strongly supported by the statements above? This is an important example. Not all logical reasoning passages will present an argument. Some will, so to speak, leave out the conclusion, and it will be your job to figure out what can be inferred from the statements given. Third, the argument commits which one of the following errors of reasoning. Sometimes we will intentionally give you a bad argument, a flawed argument, and ask you to identify the flaw. Finally, which one of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument? And of course, we could also ask about what would weaken an argument. There are a few things to keep in mind as you're preparing for the logical reasoning sections of the LSAT. First, even though every LR question involves reasoning and argumentation in some way, no specialized training in logic is needed. That said, there is some basic logical vocabulary you need to be familiar with. I have in mind terms like argument, premise, inference, conclusion, and assumption. These are terms that we will use on the test, but will not define. Similarly, there are a few other basic terms which you should pay careful attention to. These include quantifier terms like some and all. Such terms, when you see them on the test, can be quite informative, but need to be read literally. For example, many does not mean the same as most. Perhaps even more important are indicator words, words like therefore and thus, which indicate conclusions, or words like because and since, which indicate premises. When you see these words on the test, they can be very helpful because they indicate the structure of the argument. Let's talk briefly about some tips for approaching the logical reasoning sections of the test. First, identify the premises and conclusion of the argument. As we've discussed, not all logical reasoning passages will present an argument, but for those that do, figuring out what the conclusion is and what the premises are is absolutely essential to getting the question right. Second, answer the questions only on the basis of the information given, not on the basis of outside information or opinions. As we've discussed, no logical reasoning question, or any question on the LSAT for that matter, will rely on specialized background knowledge. Instead, everything you need will be right there in the question. Finally, judge the responses by how well they answer the question that is asked. As you'll see when you review prep tests, many logical reasoning questions appear on the surface to be very similar, but in fact are different in subtle and important ways. Making sure that you're answering the exact question we're asking is crucial to doing well on the LSAT. Thank you, and we wish you all the best as you pursue a legal education.
The Law School Admission Council offers inexpensive LSAT preparation materials, including actual past tests. Some are bundled to save you money. All are at lsac.org. Super Prep. Practice tests and explanations for comprehensive preparation. The 10 actual official LSAT series, each with 10 tests for pure practice at an unbelievable price. Individual prep tests, released 6 weeks after the test, 3 times a year. The official LSAT handbook, with best approaches for all 3 LSAT item types. LSAT Item-Wise, online test familiarization tool. LSAT prep test ebooks, available at major online stores.